star, for being the embodiment of this unification of the heaven-earth co-creation. Thank you.
Aveo. There is nothing I really need to add to this except again to say that the only way to navigate to that is to follow the formula.
Good day, Bashar. How are you?
Perfect. And you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
So the fun thing about this timing is I think it was last year, November, we spoke. And when I was talking to you, I had a bald eagle that showed up.
Yeah,
and interestingly enough, I had a bald eagle show up yesterday in San Diego. And I thought that was very auspicious. And then I'm now in Maui celebrating a birthday gift to myself, and a conversation I had with a friend, Koa. He brought up the star Altair, and it felt very reverent, or very significant. I should say I had reverence for the conversation, but significant to bring up to you. Do you have anything you want to share about that star?
Altair can be representative of higher frequencies, of soaring on a higher level, of connecting more strongly with the higher mind.
Ooh, can you say a little bit more about that?
In understanding that when you decide to have what you call a physical incarnational experience, there is always the higher mind that is non-physical that still exists in the spirit level simultaneously. Now, the higher mind and physical mind can decide, in a sense, together, when you arrange or set up the idea of the physical experience, exactly how much energy you will allot from the non-physical to the physical realm. Will you allow it to be a 50-50 partnership proposition? Will you allow the physical mind to experience less than 50% or more than 50% of the energy that you are in total? The vibration that you're referring to as the energy of Altair allows for the incorporation of more energy overall, a sharing of the energy in a more balanced way between the higher and physical minds, so that you can experience things in the way sometimes that the higher mind experiences them from the broader point of view. The vibration of Altair, therefore, is symbolic of the idea of a true partnership on a higher level and a balance point that allows you to grow and expand in a very balanced way, experiencing more of what the higher mind experiences while you are still physical, and therefore allowing you to experience both the attributes of spirit and the attributes of physical reality, similar in the way to our civilization being quasi-physical and having the traits of spirit and the traits of physical beings simultaneously.
That's perfect. So the thing that I actually really wanted to talk to you about is the experiences I'm having where I feel like I'm dreaming in my wake state, and everything
You
very
are.
And it feels like lucid dreaming, where there's awareness that I'm dreaming, but able to shift and change things.
Yes, and that is also the vibration specifically of the symbol of Altair, is the concept of achieving lucidity.
And so that brings me to again, I have such appreciation for you and your teachings, especially the formula, the amount of synchronicity and it feels like magic in my life from following my highest excitement this trip specifically. And so the idea of the lucidity in my waking state, seeing things before they happen, getting things manifesting what almost feels like out of thin air, is occurring in weird ways, and small things and big things, and just the signs and symbols that keep coming up. So the eagles and the hawks and the crows continue to be a fun symbol.
Yes, well, this is the new normal on your planet.
Perfect. That's perfect. And the only other thing I want to mention is the idea of symbols. When we spoke the last time, you had mentioned about the birds and my connection, and to give them the meaning, the symbols that were meaningful to me. And so I just love the synchronicity of the conversation of Altair. And is there any symbol with eagles specifically? There was an eagle that came to me in a vision that I didn't know was a real thing, the Batalor eagle. It's a tricolored eagle, and that keeps coming up. Is there anything that you want to add about that?
You can investigate some of the indigenous understanding of the reference and symbol of what the eagle represents to the American Indian.
Okay. Thank you, Bashar. Good day. I appreciate you.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar. My name is River. I'm coming to you from Temecula, California. I would love to ask about these different archetypes that I've been getting in plant medicine journeys recently. And it's the same archetypes over and over again. One is Santa Fe and the element of like dry desert, sand, and just like a lot of smoke, and the archetype of a pregnant woman with brown skin. And another archetype that's been coming up has been ayahuasca, and specifically like the snake in the rainforest. Very much a lot of humidity and water and earth, and then lastly, another archetype of sailing a ship, being a sailor, the captain of a ship, and feeling the waves and the rocking of the water of the sea. And I was just wondering if you could shine some light, your perspective on these archetypes. And typically I've noticed that I'm more of a male character as a sailor, and then for ayahuasca, that archetype is more woman and snake kind of energy. So anything you had to say about that, I would love to hear. Thank you.
This is actually a number of different things all mixed together. First of all, some of this is what you refer to typically in linear terms as memories of other lives. Now, again, everything exists simultaneously, but you make energetic connections to other beings that exist, whether you think of them as the past or the future, doesn't matter. Everything exists in the present. But linearly speaking, you usually call these things past life memories. So the idea of the sailing on the ocean and so on and so forth is more in that direction of connecting your energy to beings that are sailors and merchants and traders, exchanging goods and information across vast oceans as a symbolic archetypal representation of the exchange of information between different levels of your consciousness in order to make stronger connections and stronger bonds to integrate yourself more fully. The idea of the ayahuasca and the teachers of the earth and the idea of the Southwest is more a representation of connections to indigenous American Indian experiences and shamanistic experiences also in South American jungles. The idea being also that you're attempting to integrate and balance the masculine and feminine energies within yourself. And the snake represents the idea of ancient wisdom that makes you pregnant with new ideas to bring forth a new you. So the idea of the polarization of the dry desert sands and the lush humidity of the jungles is also what you're exploring and bringing into integration, are those ideas of what may seem to be opposites, and yet they all come from the same basic central source. So all of this has to do with interconnection, forming stronger bonds between different aspects of your consciousness, the physical mind, the higher mind, the polarization of different experiences and environments that you're connecting to that allow you for stronger integration within yourself of many different aspects that will allow yourself to be born anew as a new person. So you have many different symbols here archetypally to help you understand the integration going on in your journey right now.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day. Good day.
I have a few questions about emotions in the home. And the first one is, how come our emotions are displayed more intensely and deeply in the home and family rather than at work or socially?
Because in the home, you have the ability to understand where the emotions come from and go through whatever process you need on a personal level to allow your belief systems to be sorted out and to be chosen based on what you prefer. Whereas when you are in a working situation, the idea then is to bring what you've learned about being who you are and applying it to a team effort, so to speak, rather than working on the idea in a more personal and private way when you have the time to do so. So one is inner work, and one is the result of the inner work going into outer work.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I relate to that. Thank you.
Yes.
And so when we're triggered emotionally in the home, it can look like we regress to the age maybe that possible trauma happened. Is that what happens? Because, you know, you can just get like childlike sometimes, whether it's you or your partner or...
Yes, you take on the vibration. You don't have to take on the vibration of the timing of the occurrence. But again, the idea is to allow yourself to understand how you can benefit from what you experienced and how you can become a different person that no longer has that history.
And sometimes it's harder than others. So is that just practice? Like you see the same kind of pattern happening again. Is that just practice of mindfulness and just growth?
Yes. But again, it can be an indication of what kind of beliefs you're specifically holding on to that don't necessarily allow you to move forward. So remember, there's no such thing as an inherently difficult situation. Only the belief makes it seem difficult. And if you understand how beliefs work and how they do that to perpetuate themselves, speaking of negative beliefs, then that's something to understand more clearly as well. Because sometimes it may not even be that you really have that much left to work on, but the negative belief may not want you to let it go, and therefore it may make it seem that there's more there than meets the eye.
So it can just go and repeat until you kind of understand that, get that at a deeper level.
Exactly, because that's one of the tricks of the negative belief, is making you think that, well, this is going to happen again, and well, this is going to happen again, and well, this is going to happen again, and well, this is going to happen again. And that just keeps you in a loop that doesn't really allow you to realize you may have actually already dealt with this. It's the last vestige. It's one of the tricks that represents the last vestige of a negative belief attempting to prevent you from letting it go. That's just how negative beliefs perpetuate themselves. So there may be nothing left to really look at, but the negative belief may convince you that you'll keep revisiting this.
Yeah, tricky.
Yes, very. So when you understand how negative beliefs work, you'll start to see through the smoke and mirrors. Now, if there is truly something for you to deal with, then you'll find that too. But pay attention to the fact that negative beliefs may be giving you empty threats when there's nothing to resolve anymore.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. It's really helpful.
You're welcome.
And so our family ancestors, their unresolved emotional issues, do they get passed down until someone in the family lineage evolves them? Like their negative beliefs, say my great-grandmother's negative belief, if she never transformed that, that's going to be somewhere in me and coming through?
Possibly. It depends on the agreements that you have made in your relationship to the idea of your family. Now, other people will also, in some way, shape, or form, on some level, continue to also resolve those things in their own way, on their own path. But yes, you may have agreed to play a part in helping to resolve that issue for the family. It just depends on your agreements.
Okay. And the home, is the home, the vibration of the home, is it a reflection of our higher selves? You know how like your ships can be a reflection of your higher self. Do our homes have a similar vibration for us?
Well, they can, but usually on your planet at this point and for some time, they've been more a reflection of the agreements that you've made with each other as a soul family.
Okay, and with those agreements as a soul family, when we do resolve them, and somewhat, you know, embrace the differences rather than make them wrong or try and make them a different way,
then you tap into the possibility of the home becoming the higher mind.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I was about to ask. That's the idea, is not to have a fake existence in the home, but it's to get to a point of complete peace around each other, because it does feel more intense in the home than anywhere else.
Well, yes, because that's where you've agreed to work on these things with each other. Because it's more intimate, it's more personal.
And then when we, as a collective family, whether we're conscious of it or not, but we're at peace with each other, that creates a vibration that can, I don't know, can it create a vibration where we can connect deeper to our ancestors or to beings like yourself because of that?
Of course. Right. As you raise your frequency in any way, shape, or form, by resolving an issue, by following your passion, by clearing yourself out of things that are not vibrationally compatible with you, you raise your frequency. And as you raise your frequency, you make yourself become a better antenna for higher frequency information and experiences and connections.
So if a family can become at that vibration, then together we can all be that for each other.
Yes, of course. That's what you actually are for each other, whether you know it or not. It's just that because you have made certain agreements to process through certain things so you can discover, who am I in this situation? Who am I facing this challenge? Who am I in that circumstance? You're reflecting to each other what you've agreed you need to know for your own expansion, self-discovery, and growth.
Yeah, so as well as like my brother sometimes could be reflecting a part of my own unconscious that I'm not yet strong enough to see. So I see it in him.
Yes.
And then I can take it. Yeah. Okay.
It can be that. It can be that. It doesn't always have to be, but it can be that. You have to pay attention and have discernment to decide what's going on.
Okay.
And that just takes honest self-investigation. Yes. Just takes honest
and
self-investigation.
a lot of patience.
No, takes no patience at all. None whatsoever. The only reason you need patience is because you become impatient with what's going on in the moment. If you live fully in the moment, you are completely engaged. There's nothing better that you think is coming along, and therefore you will not be impatient because you do not require patience to be in the moment.
I am choosing to believe that. So it's my negative belief that would say, or anyone's that would say it's somewhat more challenging to do it in the home or family, or that's because I've made the contracts with those people.
Yes.
So there's a different vibration.
Of course there's a different vibration. But again, it can be challenging, but challenges do not have to be a struggle.
Good. Another great point, Bashar.
Thank you.
Another great point. You're welcome. Okay, well, that's my questions. Thank you so much.
Aveo.
Yeah, unconditional love.
And to you as well.
Thank you.